a favor.
This is the way. Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Tells me you're from Memphis.
Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, brought to you by the Drive-In Podcast Network, where we discuss film, TV, and all things Hollywood here on the show. I'm your host, Christian, and I'm joined by my co-host, Devin. And today, you're going to be joining us as we take the red pill and see how deep the rabbit hole goes with our franchise revisited series, starting with 1999's The Matrix. We're here. We're talking about.
I always took you as a blue pill guy.
Me, a blue pill? You know they do say that ignorance is bliss.
Exactly.
I mean,
just take the blue pill, calm down. It'll make you feel better, and then just go on with your life.
It's kind of weird because it's like going back and rewatching this after so long. It really does make you think. Like, obviously, it's like, oh, like, it's my job real? Is the air breathing? I'm real. Like, what is real and what is fake? You know, and there's been a lot of theories out there about reality and like we're all just asleep. And this is like a big dream world. Maybe we're in the Matrix, Devin. It's kind of cool. I kind of like it. But are you really in the Matrix if you know that you're in the Matrix? You know what I mean? It's kind of weird stuff. But
we just gotta get waking up.
Wake up. Stay woke. Man, oh man. But before we begin today's show, you can listen to our podcast on platforms around the internet. If you're a new or seasoned listener to the show, we'd love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram and follow us on Twitter at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. As we stated before, we are here doing our first ever, not our first ever movie series review, since now it is dubbed the Franchise Revisited series here on the show. This is our first of many Matrix movies as we are doing our Road to Matrix 4 Resurrections. Well, it's called the Matrix Resurrections, but this is our first stop along the way with 1999, The Matrix. So we're going to get into it here. Are you ready, Devin? Are you ready to hop on into the Matrix and save the world?
Yes, I'm ready to learn Kung Fu.
I know Kung Fu. Remember, we had to bring guns. Lots of guns.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be right back with our Matrix review, or Matrix 1. Yeah, we'll see. We'll be right back with our The Matrix review after this short break.
Have you ever had a dream, Neo, that you were so sure was real? What if you were unable to wake from that dream? How would you know the difference between the dream world and the real world?
What is happening to me?
The answer is out there, Neo. It's the question that drives us.
What is the Matrix?
All right, and we are back. That was a little snippet of the trailer from The Matrix. Woo, dropping in 1990, partying like it's 1999, Devin. Partying like it's 1999.
Right before the world ended.
Yeah, right before, Y2K. It was a great year, 1999. We were in our youth, I feel like, It's
I don't think I saw this one when it first came out. I would have been 4 years old. Not a great kids movie, I would say.
No, not at all. I didn't see this when it first, not in theaters, surely. And unfortunately, we were not able to go to the theaters to actually experience for the first time in theaters, because it has been a while since I've watched The Matrix. But I believe AMC was doing the 2-night IMAX Matrix special. Man, that would have been fantastic to see. But, with time and, work and everything, I wasn't able to go. Like, I had my ticket ready.
It does look great on HBO. They got the 4K, Dolby, all of it set up. Yeah.
Well, Devin, you finally got your wish. Warner Brothers finally listened. For those of you out there listening, Devin was a big stickler when it came to HBO when they weren't offering 4K streaming. I was
didn't make sense.
At the time, I was okay with it just because, I was gonna watch the stuff anyway, but I could see pricing wise, especially, you know, with the comparisons.
But you can see the difference because this movie looked great, and it's like over 20 years old now, and it looked like it could have been. Obviously, there's some parts where it didn't look great, but for the most part, it looked like it could have been a new movie.
Yeah. I mean, you know, this was the the late 90s. So, you know, when it came to CGI, this entire series we were trying to figure out, we were still messing around with the whole CGI thing. But yeah, I do agree with you, Devin. I didn't watch it on HBO Max, but I do have the 4K collection I bought during good old Black Friday. And I was like, oh, perfect. I got to pick this up. But today we are here talking about The Matrix, which is directed by Lana Wachowski and Lilly Wachowski as well. And they also wrote the film and stars Mr. Keanu Reeves, Laurence Fishburne, and Carrie-Anne Moss. And for those of you who have not seen The Matrix, what are you doing with your lives? It's on HBO Max, the entire trilogy, and The Animatrix is on HBO Max as well. Have you seen that before?
I have not.
It's been a while since I have seen it, but it's tells some pretty interesting stories in between each of the main, or the trilogy itself. But I'm going to read the synopsis for people out there who may not be familiar with The Matrix, or if this is your first time watching The Matrix, so that you can prepare yourself for Matrix 4. We just want to make sure that, we got you on all sides. So the story is as follows. When a beautiful stranger leads computer hacker Neo to a forbidding underworld, he discovers the shocking truth. The life he knows is the elaborate deception of the evil cyber intelligence.
Follow that white rabbit, buddy.
Yeah, follow the white rabbit down the rabbit hole, man. So so let's get this thing started off. Devin, this is your first franchise revisited. Welcome, finally. I'm just joking.
I had to skip the Wizarding World, but now I'm here in the artificial world.
Yeah, there we go. I like that. I think that deserves a nice little. That was nice. That was nice. Good stuff. Really, really good stuff there. For sure. So, Devin, tell me. What was your introduction to The Matrix? How old were you?
It's been a long time. I don't remember when I first saw it, but it's been at least 10 years. Like, I'm trying to think when I first watched it, but because rewatching this, I forgot most of it, to be honest. Like, there are a lot of scenes where none of this looks familiar, but I'm enjoying it a lot. But I don't really remember the first time. But it did feel like the first time.
Ah, feels like the first time. Feels like the very first time. Yeah, it is, admittedly, it has been over 10 years for me as well. It's just been so long since I've seen The Matrix, and it's not a franchise that I usually go back to all that often, but since the rise of Keanu Reeves with Cyberpunk 2077 and John Wick,
it's the Keanu-sans.
It is a Keanu-sans, and Call Me, Call Me by Your Maybe, or not Call Me by Your Name, that one Netflix show but romantic comedy that he's in. And he's like the ex-boyfriend for like a little bit.
Always Be My Maybe.
Always Be My Maybe. There we go. And he's in the new SpongeBob movie as well.
Yeah, it was the sage old man.
My name is Patrick. Yeah. The nice little sage tumbleweed. But yeah, it's been a while. Like I said before, it's been around 10 years. And I remember watching, I can't remember if it was the first Matrix or the second one, with my parents at one of their friends' houses. I want to say it was the second one, but yeah, it was almost as if this was my first time watching it, and I know that I've seen it before, but it was just very much like you, Devin. There were parts that I remembered, especially the very beginning, but after a while things got a bit jumbled for me, and I was like, I couldn't really remember what was happening next, but as Devin said, on HBO Max, vouching for him, he said it looks great on there. And then for me, watching the 4K disc, it looks fantastic. It really looks like it definitely holds up. You know, it's nice to see a super young Keanu Reeves again during his early days. But you know, this was just one of those franchises, especially this movie, where it was the big thing. You know, back in 1999, especially like we said, the whole Y2K thing was coming up, and it was a great time. But yeah, my introduction to Matrix, I want to say I was maybe, 12 years. It's maybe 10, 12 years old watching it. I can't really remember, but I just remember, you know, the black trench coaches, you know, and the whole slow-mo whatnot. But Devin, what was your initial, your initial reactions? I would like to get your initial reactions on watching this, since it's been so long for us. We can kind of count this as a first viewing, but so tell me your thoughts. You know, do you think it held up, or, you know, are you still feeling the same thing? Because I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I definitely think it held up. I definitely remember when I was younger. I was probably like 10 or 12, like you said, somewhere in that range. But I remember the scene where Agent Smith puts the bug inside of his belly button. I remember that freaking me out so much as a kid, and it definitely holds up because that thing is creepy.
Yeah,
it's just a giant metal. That thing's huge. Like when he pulls it out, I was like, wow, that thing's like a foot long, and it just slurps right into his belly button. And I was like, oh boy, that thing is creepy. I vividly remember that.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you that from right off the bat, it's very it is kind of creepy, because like there are a lot of, like, I guess you could say, like, there's a bit horror elements in here, especially with, you know, like the tracker bug, I guess, you know, as you were just talking about. And then there's also the kind of like the closed mouth situation, you know, so because it's like you never really understand like what's going on. And, you know, like we've seen other films like The Matrix kind of tackle the same thing, where you have much like Inception, you know, it's kind of like, you know, are you in the real world or a dream world? But this is more of a computerized, like, it's so 90s. It's crazy, because everyone
it has the
thought
most 90s ending imaginable.
Oh yeah, like everyone thought that computers were going to take over the world. You know, humanity was going to just disappear, and we see that in The Matrix. You know, especially with Laurence Fishburne, how they kind of explain what The Matrix is and how humanity became to what they were. And, you know, humanity is the ones that scorched the sky, is what they say. Laurence Fishburne says, but it's such a, you know, there's not a lot of action in the first one. Like, I mean, they definitely have some action bits in there. And of course, you know, Keanu Reeves' famous line, as I mentioned earlier, the whole gun, you know, like, well, what do you need? Guns, lots of guns, which he calls back in John Wick 3, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. So that was really, really nice. But, you know, the cast of the characters, you know, Rat, and then you had, you know, the other, the brothers who were born outside of the Matrix. So they didn't have, like, you know, the holes in their skin. It really is a very, it's a scary thought in their situation, because, you know, Neo is, you know, the chosen one, you know, Neo, shocker, you know, rearrange the letters and it spells one. So it's very it's kind of on the nose a little bit, but I do like how the film tries to divert your attention, saying, oh, you know, like, Neo's not the one, you know, he's just another guy who's been pulled out of the Matrix, and, you know, they think he's like the one that's going to, you know, put an end to all this, but, you know, he's just a hacker.
Like, yeah, he's just a lowly little hacker, just falling asleep at the desk.
Yeah, it's so weird to see, like, how much, like, especially with the big scenes, like the big CGI scenes that we've seen in The Matrix, when it comes to just like the bullet dodging. Because, like, I remember when I was a kid, like, that was like the coolest thing ever for us. And now it's, there's a lot of slow-mo, they like to kind of take their time with this movie, but with a runtime of about, I think it's about 2 hours and 10-ish minutes.
2 hours and 16 minutes.
16 minutes, yeah. So like I don't know, like, did you feel the runtime at all? Because I don't feel like I did.
Not really.
No, not really. I can't, because for some reason I thought this movie was like 2 hours and 30 minutes for some reason. I don't know why.
I didn't really feel the runtime, but I think it's just because they did a good job of mixing up the different types of action scenes throughout. I like the contrast of having it be a futuristic, like, AI robot type of story. And there's also some good gunplay throughout, but then it also goes back to its roots and has, like, the kung fu and martial arts portion of it. Like, all of that contrasting together is very well done and keeps you intrigued throughout. Just seeing these dudes fly around and kung fu fighting each other with guns and stuff, and their superpowers, you can call them.
Yeah, it kind of like is their superpower in a way, because it seems that humankind has advanced so far to where they can learn a skill in minutes. Especially you see with Neo, going through his training and saying like, I know kung fu, and then Laurence Fishburne's like, show me. I was like, oh yeah.
He actually says that in one of the trailers for Matrix 4.
You see, I haven't been watching a lot of the Matrix 4 trailers. I want to be kept in the dark as much as I can. We know how studios like to kind of release little snippets out there. The Spider-Man No Way Home, like the first minute is like already out on YouTube and stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to watch it until, it's actually time. But yeah, when it comes to, the human evolution, like we were talking about with, learning certain skills in minutes, like this dystopian world where even with, I'm sorry, I'm blanking. God, oh God. Oh, with Carrie-Anne Moss's character, Trinity. God, obviously.
How could you forget?
I don't know, dude.
Wow.
Like I
our
said,
queen.
hey, I hopped on here like right after I got off work. I didn't have time to like collect my thoughts, but it is what it is. But with Trinity, we kind of see, even with the my God, the helicopter scene. I watched this a few days. I probably should have watched this last night instead, but I'll be more prepared for Matrix Reloaded. But it's just really cool to see. Oh, like I need to learn how to fly a X, Y, and Z helicopter. 2 minutes later, it's like, okay, boop. Like it's done. Like it really is a cool dystopian world, and even the practical effects is something that we rarely see in films nowadays, especially like towards the third act when Trinity and Neo, especially when Trinity and Neo go to rescue Morpheus. Wow, I'm blanking on everyone's name today. My God, I'm so sorry.
You better not forget Morpheus.
I was gonna say Laurence Fishburne. I'm like, I know his name, and I'm like, say it, and it's like my brain was stalling, and I'm like, and then it's like, say it. It's like, no, yeah, it's Morpheus. But
Speaking of Morpheus, the scene where he's tied up to the chair in the building, and then he gets broken free. I was so pumped. That was such a cool scene.
I really like how the obviously the AIs are trying to get the intelligence out of him, because one of their own crew members obviously kind of turns on them, and I was like, well, this is weird. Like it's just not a I really like the it's man, I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say, and I do apologize, everyone, but when it comes to the portrayal of one of their crew workers, however you want to put it, the bald guy, because it wasn't Rat. You would think it'd be Rat because his name is Rat, but it was Cypher. That's right. Yeah. So Cypher
is the Rat.
Yeah. Cypher is the Rat. Essentially, it's very not necessarily on the nose, because you didn't really expect, like, he was a bit.
I had forgotten that plot line entirely.
about him wanting to go back into the Matrix.
Because, and him betraying them.
Yeah. I think it worked out well because it's more of, everyone's following Morbius. Morbius is their leader. They're on this ship, and their first instinct is essentially just trying to survive and make it through. But instead of quote unquote surviving in the way of the Matrix, they want to be brought into the real world. And I really like how Cypher kind of cracks under pressure and saying, hey, I've been following Morbius for a long time. Nothing's getting done. I'm done. I'm done with all this. I want to go back into the Matrix. I just want, essentially, he says ignorance is bliss. And that's always been like a big, I guess, philosophical answer. And the entire film is just riddled with, the whole answer of, is ignorance bliss, or, is it better waking up and knowing the truth, like we have with the red pill and the blue pill,
do destiny or fate have any saying in what your life becomes, or can you control that? That's Neo's whole mission, is to figure out whether destiny exists. He doesn't believe it does, and then in the end he takes control of his own fate and becomes the chosen one.
The chosen one. Yeah. A nice little hero's journey type thing, but done in a different way, for sure. But I really like how, you have those philosophical discussions. Like there's a lot of big dialogue in this movie where, Neo flat out says, he's like, I don't believe in the Matrix because, he's like, cause I don't believe in fate. I don't believe in someone else, controlling my life instead of me making my own decisions, because we've seen so many times over and over with so many different franchises. Like it's fate that Harry has to face Voldemort and he has to die, that Voldemort has to kill him, and it's fate that Jon Snow become king on the Iron Throne because of his birthright and all this stuff. But there's so many other, examples out there, but it's more so, it's like, Tony Stark, he decided to take control of his own life and save humanity, essentially, get rid of Thanos. He didn't have to, but it's more of, the choice deciding to do what's right. And I think with Neo taking his own life into action, after being told he was not the one, it kind of put him in that mindset of not being expected to kind of just sit back and say, oh, well, if I'm supposed to save the world, then it's just going to happen. I don't have to do anything. It's just going to happen. But him being told that he wasn't the one kind of put him in the mindset of him essentially doing it in ignorance, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love how they portrayed him taking control of his own destiny and the subway scene at the end. It's so cool. Woo. He just like, because not only are they telling him that he's not the one the whole movie, or at least the second half of the movie, but they're also telling him that he should run whenever an agent is near, because they are just meant to kill you and they're just deadly. So everyone's telling him to just run away, just don't try to face off with them. But then in the subway, he like cocks his arms. He's like, come get some.
I love it.
I got a loud clap out of me.
I love it every single time in this movie where they do like the hand motion, like, come on, you don't really see it. Well, you might see that in like Kung Fu movies. I haven't seen Cobra Kai at all, but have you, by chance?
I've seen, like, I think the first season with my dad was watching. I was kind of just in the background watching it. But
oh, okay. Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah, I hear it's a pretty good show. Leo loves it.
I don't really have a connection with Karate Kid.
I mean, not the original Karate Kid. We got the
Jaden Smith.
Jaden Smith. I hate it here.
Yes.
Man, oh man, it's been forever.
Speaking of Jaden Smith, I guess we could talk about the fated decision that Will Smith made about this movie.
What was that?
It's been well documented that he turned down this movie. He could have been Neo. He turned it down for Wild Wild West.
Didn't he hate Wild Wild West?
Yeah, it was a terrible movie.
No,
But
like
he didn't know that. He didn't know that before going into it, though.
yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a big regret he has. He could have been Neo.
I think Will Smith has a lot of regrets, to be completely honest. I mean, it's not that.
But also, branching further off of that, I'm reading here that Sandra Bullock was originally going to be Trinity, but then she found out that Will Smith was Neo, so then she dropped out. But then Keanu Reeves became Neo, and then she regretted it.
Yeah, because
obviously they have the history in Speed.
Yeah, and Speed. Yeah, I was gonna say because Sandra Bullock had like a really big crush on Keanu Reeves at some point, didn't she?
Oh, yeah,
during
don't
Speed.
We all?
Was it during Speed or Crash? No, yeah, it was Speed. Yeah, the because that one, I believe that won an Academy Award. I want to say it won Best Picture, or was that Crash? I can't remember. But that's weird how so Will Smith was supposed to play Neo, and then Sandra Bullock was supposed to be Trinity, but she dropped out.
But then they both dropped out.
Oh, they both. Okay,
Actually, I don't think Will Smith was ever like, he never accepted it. He was offered it.
But he was offered. Okay, yeah. Man, oh man, yeah. Because I thought you meant that like Will Smith, like was potentially going to be Neo, and then Sandra Bullock found out that if she was going to be Trinity, then she was dropping out because Will Smith was going to be Neo.
That is how they phrase it on IMDb.
Okay.
Sandra Bullock had been offered the role of Trinity, but turned it down because Will Smith was in the film. I guess she doesn't like Will Smith or something.
Oh, I guess not. Huh. Or she's like, nope, I'll only do a movie with Mr.
I only have eyes for Keanu.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think how. Well, actually,
I think Carrie-Anne Moss is definitely a better choice here, though, for like the action fighting, like cyberpunk type role. I cannot see Sandra Bullock pulling that off.
No, I can't either. It's Carrie-Anne. She's one of my favorite characters because she's just a really good character. And there's a lot of sense of danger within this entire franchise, just mainly within the Matrix. When Cypher kind of flips the script and betrays everyone, and they're kind of like sitting ducks because they're in the Matrix, and then Cypher kind of kills off the other two, or supposedly, and you really feel a sense of danger, like, okay, like they're stuck in the Matrix. How is Trinity and Neo and the rest of the gang going to get out? Because they're also trying to save Morpheus, and then this whole it creates this whole like crazy tension. And it wasn't like like will they, won't they? Like obviously nowadays, when it comes to like close calls, like they're going to be okay. But like I really like how everything kind of just came together with, when Cypher, like, he kills off one of the brothers, and then the other one's like kind of like mortally wounded in a way, but kind of gets back up. Like I was not expecting that whatsoever. Like I thought something else was going to happen. Like we said, we haven't seen this movie in like 10 years. So it was very, it was kind of like a big guessing game. I didn't know what was going to happen. I like how everything played out, especially with Trinity and like, her feelings for Neo and, the kiss of life, essentially bringing him back in a way. And it's like,
love cures all.
Love cures all. And then of course, them coming back, Trinity and Neo going back into the Matrix and just wrecking shop with all these crazy practical effects, the classic, black sunglasses with a nice black dress in all black, the black trench coat, and it's like they mean business. And it's between that action scene, obviously the kung fu action scene that we get, and then the subway scene, that's really kind of like, I guess you could say, more of the major acting scenes that we've gotten so far. But I do apologize. I've been talking for so much. Is there anything you wanted to bring up about The Matrix that on this franchise revisited series?
Gotta love Hugo Weaving as Agent Smith. He just killed it in this one. Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, Hugo Weaving just absolutely killed the role. Let's see who else we got. Obviously, Morpheus is just a legend.
Oh yeah, Laurence Fishburne. It's so weird seeing him and I don't want to say like his prime, but he's an old guy. So nowadays, so he takes more of the desk roles.
Yeah, except for John Wick, he's standing up for that one.
Oh yeah, he is. Oh man.
But speaking of John Wick, it's crazy that Keanu Reeves' stunt double in The Matrix is the one who directs the entire John Wick franchise. Chad Stileski.
Devin coming in with all the amazing trivia, of course. Always appreciated, much appreciated here in the show.
That's why John Wick rules. Got that Matrix lineage.
I really like how they, later on, you see it. Even the classic music, like dun, 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 like it's it's subtle, like especially when but it's there because it's crap's about to hit the fan.
And just the way it ends, that final scene where he flies into the sky and Rage Against the Machine is playing, it's the most 90s thing you'll ever see.
Honestly, yes, and it's weird because we grew up in the 90s. We know a lot of 90s pop culture, things of that nature. And it's like, I was pulling up the trailer and rewatching like the original like 1999 trailer, the first official trailer. And it's like, black bars on the side, like square. It really puts you in the mood to watch this movie. Like it's just what have I told you? And just
the weird like greenish tint that they put on the entire movie.
Yeah, that
just to make it feel different.
Yeah, I really do appreciate that, and I was wondering if they were going to keep that in because that's such a.
It certainly did not keep it in for the fourth one. It's very colorful.
Yeah, they did not keep it in for the fourth one at all. It's very. I think it's okay that they're not. Doing...
It looks pretty.
Yeah,
like it really does.
It looks pretty. I'm so excited for Matrix 4, man. It's going to be insane. Like I don't even know where to begin. Like us, we're doing this whole franchise revisited with the Matrix, and we got a few more things planned next year. But I'm very excited to see, it with Matrix Reloaded. I'm more excited for Matrix Reloaded, or just as excited. Maybe not so for the third one, but hey.
Yeah, I'm also very excited for Matrix Reloaded because I remember as a kid really liking that one. I'm not sure if it'll hold up as much. We're going to find out, but I just remember the twin antagonists being very cool, at least when I was a child, because it was just crazy twins doing kung fu stuff. But yeah, we'll see how it holds up. Yeah,
definitely, man. It's been a crazy, crazy ride so far, and the Matrix. It's such a it's a cult classic. Like you can never go wrong with putting on the Matrix. It's not too action heavy. Like we said before, it does have those philosophical questions that we're all trying to figure out and kind of just, especially back then, like I keep saying with like Y2K, it really is like the perfect Y2K movie. Honestly, like if you were to scare anyone in the late 90s going into the 2000 into year 2000, this would probably be the movie to scare the crap out of them. Because we've seen, in the early 2000s, like iRobot, things like that. But there's always that one movie that's like, robots are taking over the world. Like machines are going to take over the world. I don't think we've had one of those lately in a while, just because I don't know if it's necessarily played out, but it is what it is. And we're just thankful that the Matrix has came back into our lives, and we found a really good excuse to kind of, talk about this, starting off with this amazing franchise. So, Devin, is there anything else you wanted to bring up before we close out of here today?
Mr. Anderson, Mr. Christian.
The way he says it is like the entire AIs. They're very, oh my God, they act like they're supposed to be AIs, but his performance in general is like Mr. Anderson. And like how he hates humans and just like hates the Matrix. And I think
just love how he calls him Mr. Anderson because he knows it pisses him off because he goes by Neo.
Yeah, it's fun. What was his first name again? Is it
Thomas Anderson?
Thomas Anderson. I was gonna say Nick Anderson. I really got to get on this name thing. Terrible. But let's get into scores here so we can wrap all this up. Devin, what would you give The Matrix after not seeing it for 10 possibly 10 plus long years?
I mean, I feel like it held up so well. We've been talking about it for a while now, and we didn't really have many complaints. So I'm gonna go with like a strong 94.
Oh, okay.
Just really got the job done and kind of changed movies going forward for the most part. And it's in the Library of Congress. It's a big deal.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I did not know
I
that.
think in 2012 it got put in.
That's pretty freaking awesome, actually. Oh man, we'll see what happens with the fourth one. But I don't know if they do that with movies anymore. Maybe, I don't know. It's weird stuff.
I think Shrek's in there too.
of course, Shrek's in there. You can't not put Shrek in there. Like, donkey, what are you doing in my slump? But for me,
it says Nashville is a filming location.
Was it really? Nashville was, huh?
For the Trinity rooftop chase.
Oh, I mean, of course, the intro scene was fantastic. Set the tone for the entire movie. Absolutely loved it with Trinity and whatnot.
But most of it was Australia.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. Very, very interesting. It's really interesting to see where some of these locations, the filming locations are. Because I know for what was it, The Harder They Fall? I mean, obviously they shot on location. It was like New Mexico, parts of like Arizona, I believe, Santa Fe. So it was just pretty cool. Well, a little bit of a Nashville in there for good old Music City. You never
That'll
know.
Bump your score up a bit.
What's up?
That'll bump your score up a bit.
Oh, it's sitting at it on. I rewatched it. When I rewatched it, I give it a 5 out of 5. Like Letterbox.
Give it a 99, like the year it came out.
Yeah, I will give it a 99. The only small issue, and it's not really an issue because like it's a marvel of its time, is obviously just the CGI that happens throughout. So it's very there's really nothing else you can do about that.
When he first makes the rooftop jump and then he like Looney Tunes bounces into the concrete and back up.
Yeah. That was hilarious. I was like, oh, you get a bit of sense of rhythm.
Classic Warner Brothers.
Yeah, exactly. The classic Warner. We don't get a lot of classic Warner Brothers nowadays, but hopefully Matrix 4 will hold up. I'm really hoping they can kind of bounce back from everything that happened with Matrix Revolutions. So yeah, a 99 out of 100 for me, for sure. It's a great movie. It's one that I'll always go back to. It's a marvel for sure. This around here, like early, like late, like Warner Brothers has always been a really great studio. It's just they haven't been making the best decisions lately. But this is like old school Warner Brothers. It's good stuff. So yeah, that pretty much concludes our review, our franchise revisited review of The Matrix here on the Film Optix podcast. So, Devin, what do we have coming up? Of course, if you actually like this, the franchise revisited, go check out our Harry Potter movie series review that we did. It stars a lot of great guests, a lot of great friends of the show as well. We had a great time. Devin's not there, so we definitely had a great time. I'm just joking. But definitely, if
I'm a muggle, I'll admit it. Well,
we're all muggles when we leave Hogwarts. It's the muggle life is very stressful when you're not in, but yeah, yeah, Devin's forever a muggle. Forever a muggle. It's all good.
Mug life.
Mug life. I didn't choose the mug life. The mug life chose me. But yeah, as I was saying, yeah, if you like this kind of content, you know, of us kind of going back through these amazing franchises that we love so dearly, definitely check out our Harry Potter movie series review that is up on the podcast right now. And moving forward, of course, we actually just dropped our Hawkeye episode 4 review that's on the podcast as well. So if you've been catching up on some Hawkeye, definitely check that out. It's good stuff. Coming up on the podcast, of course, we're going to be doing our Matrix Reloaded review here on the road to Matrix 4. Haven't figured out a specific date for that yet, but definitely follow us on Twitter at Film Optix. Again, that is Optix with an X, to kind of keep up with those updates. That's pretty much where we post, you know, what's coming out for the week, things of that nature. We're just trying to figure out a good time to record and release that episode for you guys. And of course, we have our Spider-Man No Way Home review dropping on December 16th. Got our tickets, 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock.
I told my manager I have a flu shot at 3.
There you go. Oh, I flat out.
That's how you do it.
I flat out just told my manager, I was like, hey, I'm like, I needed to leave like 2 hours early from work. He's like, why? I'm like, Spider-Man. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, there's a new Spider-Man movie coming out. He's like, oh, okay.
Well, that works too.
He's a big movie buff too, so he kind of gets it. So yeah, definitely check out our Spider-Man No Way Home review that will be dropping on December 16th for all of you wonderful people. And of course, I'm going to be writing a review for Spider-Man No Way Home on In Session Film. And so definitely keep a lookout for that. It's going to be either between, actually just follow me at Music City Nerd. And once I post it over there on Twitter, you'll know. It's either going to be the 14th or through the 17th, one of those days. I'm not sure yet. And then I have my The King's Man review dropping on December 14th on InSessionFilm.com as well. And as I mentioned before, I'm going to try to do some little, you know, toss a coin to your witcher season 2. So we got that coming up as well. I might do a written review for that over on MusicCityDriving.com. So definitely check out InSessionFilm.com and MusicCityDriving.com. Really great places to get all of your Oscar contenders and all of your amazing, my gosh, award needs, I guess you could say. So, man, oh man, Devin, let's get on out of here. We hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you all for listening. And if you enjoy the show, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay in the know. That was Devin. My name is Christian, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace, Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.